Before we get going, I would like to acknowledge two of our sponsors this evening, Horace Height of the Horace Height Estates, a residential community located in Sherman Oaks, the place you come home to, and Gaspar Insurance for all of your insurance needs with offices right here in Woodland Hills Warner Center. If we can have a bit of applause for those two folks. They're making it possible for us to videotape and bring this to the rest of the community.
As a member of the State Assembly, you, if you're elected, will have to take positions on some critically important issues that are not terribly sexy or get a lot of media attention. One of those, to my mind, is water policy, something that's really important to Southern California, but people don't think about it a lot. They turn on the tap and the water is always there. We're in the midst of a drought, and so water is going to become more important again. What is your position on Governor Brown's tunnel project, which certainly will not be completed or will not have full funding by the time he leaves office next year? And if you are against it, what are your proposals for long-term fixes to the current water delivery and environmental problems in the current system?
And that question goes to Daniel Brin.
All right. I've been studying this issue lately, and as an environment, I have to come down against the Delta Tunnel or tunnels. I believe that our money could be better spent in local resources, in water collection. Some people might call those dams, but I think if we develop our underground aquifers, we're able to collect the tremendous amount of rainwater that comes through the Los Angeles River and just ends up and dumped into the ocean. We should develop all the resources that are capability that we can find. We also need to develop gray water systems in every household, so to water our plants. And other reclamation projects and desalinization plants.
Thank you. Next, Jesse Gabriel.
Yeah, so I have a lot of concerns about Governor Brown's tunnels plan, although now I understand he's down to one tunnel, and we'll see what's going to happen. It doesn't seem like the economics is going to work out for that project, and I know that there are a lot of environmental concerns, and from the folks I've spoken to, it doesn't necessarily seem like that project would actually address our water needs. It is a complicated issue. We've learned from this past year that last year was an aberration, that that drought is going to be the new normal, and that we're going to have to find a way to deal with it. I think a lot of it is going to be harnessing the power of technology, thinking about stormwater and rainwater capture, water recycling, water conservation, and other efforts to reduce our use of water so that we can address this problem. But it is a serious and difficult and complicated problem, and if I'm in Sacramento, I'll look forward to talking with a lot of folks up there, environmentalists, experts, and others, to understand how we can address it in a fiscally responsible, environmentally sensitive way.
Tricia Robbins-Casson.
From what I understand, actually, when our water policy was actually created in terms of the distribution throughout the state, it was actually done during one of the wettest years in 200 years. So that brings us back to the fact that we live in a semi-arid desert. And the thing I do know is that as long as California has been in a state, and probably beforehand, we have fought about water. I'm sure all of us watched Chinatown at least once. And the Northern Californians are always against the Southern Californians because the Northern Californians are selfish and the Southern Californians want to use the water to fill their pools and water their lawns. And the environmentalists are against the agriculturalists and all of that. And you know what? We've been fighting for this issue so long. We all need to get together and figure out a comprehensive solution. We're one state and we're all in it together. That's what I think.
Thank you. I lost my place here. Ankur.
So we had blistering droughts, raging fires, flash floods, and then mudslides, right? We are in the middle of a climate crisis. Water policy is a part of that at a very fundamental level. I'm against the tunnels. I don't think they're going to solve the problems that we're looking at. But overall water rights and the way that agriculture extracts water, how it's distributed between different water districts, that needs to be redone at the state level fundamentally in terms of who gets water when, right? We know Arrowhead, the company, has been extracting huge amounts of water without even proper permits and making profit off of it. This is a problem. This is because of the influence of money in our policy across so many different issues, right? And in 2014, we had Proposition 1, another multi-billion-dollar water bond, not the first and not the last. And the conversation is the same again and again. Where are these investments going, and how are these billions of dollars in water infrastructure actually going to solve the problem, as opposed to building
Thank you.
dams that are going to benefit agriculture, or tunnels that aren't actually going to solve the problem?
Thank you very much. Ray Bishop.
Water is a critical part of life on our planet. And what we've done is we've polluted our aquifers. We're fracking and destroying some of the water that is important to that life. We have a serious problem. We have to find solutions to it. I've toured the Delta area with my sister, who is with the Water Resources Board, and the dikes are crumbling, and there are certain problems we have up there. If the governor and the people that are with the Water Resources Board have determined that this is a possible solution, that we can replenish our aquifers and get water to the places that we need it for life, then we should look at that and consider it, because we do need to deal with our problems. And if this is a solution, which I don't have all the answers to, but it looks to me like it might be a good possibility, then we should solve the problem and move forward.
Justin Clark.
Throughout the history of California, we can know by looking at tree rings that our state periodically has gone through drought. Those droughts, the largest being historically around 200 years of drought conditions. And we just need to accept that that's a way of life in this state, and we need to properly manage our water. And that starts where, it's funny, in a state where our government seems to have a spending problem, that this is the one area where they don't. We have the Water Resources Board holding up funding for certain projects. Well, Governor Brown's pushing the tunnel, which at the end of the day isn't going to solve the problem. We can start by following through on the Water Action Plan that the legislature has already passed to create actual water storage systems and investing in our water infrastructure, but also updating the Water Action Plan more than just one time a year, because climate conditions change on a daily basis. As we know, the drought was declared over last year, but now we're already seeing that that truly wasn't the case.
Justin, thank you. Jeff Bornstein.
You know, I'm opposed to the tunnel or the tunnels, whichever it is, on both economic and environmental, for economic and environmental reasons. You know, we have to give up our lawns. I mean, there's a lot of great suggestions up here by the panel, which actually, this is an excellent panel here. I'm really impressed. We have to, basically, you can't have a full lawn. If you have a full lawn, you're taking up too much of your water. That's it. So lawns should be limited. You can have a little lawn, but you can't have a full lawn. You can have a 10 by 10 lawn or a 20 by 20 lawn, and that's it. I know you laugh, and I know it'll even be funnier when we put somebody in jail for a day because they have too big a lawn, but this is the kind of stuff that needs to be done. You know, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to get the job done.
I thank you very much. We're going to conclude, that will be the conclusion of the questions from our panelists this evening.